What are Remembrance Day and Remembrance Sunday? Remembrance Day is a memorial day, observed in the UK and other Commonwealth member states, since the end of the First World War, to honour armed forces members who have died in the line of duty. Remembrance Sunday is held in the United Kingdom, as a day to commemorate the contribution of British and Commonwealth military and civilian servicemen and women, in the two world wars, and later conflicts. When do we observe Remembrance Day and Remembrance Sunday? Remembrance Day is observed on the 11th of November, and Remembrance Sunday is held on the second Sunday in November, the Sunday nearest to the 11th of November. Why do we observe Remembrance Day on this date? The 11th of November, or Armistice Day, is the anniversary of the end of First World War hostilities, which ended at the 11th hour, of the 11th day, of the 11th month, of 1918. How is it observed? Remembrance Day is usually observed by 2 minutes of silence at 11 a.m. on the 11th of November. In the UK, the beginning and end of the 2-minute silence is often marked in large towns and cities by the firing of a field artillery gun. The service of remembrance is held on Armistice Day, and includes the sounding of the last post, a special bugle call of remembrance, and the service is finished by a reading of the Ode of Remembrance. A national service of remembrance is held in London on Remembrance Sunday. Poppy wreaths are laid by representatives of the royal family, the armed forces, and local civic leaders, as well as by local organisations, including ex-servicemen organisations, cadet forces, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Guides, the Boys Brigade, St. John's Ambulance, and the Salvation Army. Did you know? The 2-minute silence is broadcast as a special programme on BBC, with a voiceover, usually saying, "This is BBC One, now on the 11th hour, of the 11th day, of the 11th month," the traditional 2-minute silence for Armistice Day. The programme starts with a close-up of London's Big Ben clock, chiming 11, and then the programme shows different parts of the world observing the silence. The programme ends with a bugler sounding the rouse, and then normal programming is resumed. The first 2-minute silence was held in London on the 11th of November, 1919. The remembrance poppy is an artificial flower, worn to commemorate military personnel who have died in war. The wearing of poppies was inspired by the war poem, "In Flanders Fields," written during the First World War by a Canadian doctor, Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, which refers to the red poppies that grew over the graves of fallen soldiers in Belgium. In 1921, the Royal British Legion, a charitable organisation for veterans, began selling red paper poppies for Armistice Day, and this was very successful, and still continues today. These poppies are worn on clothing on the day, and are a symbol of both remembrance and hope for a peaceful future. The monies raised from the sale of poppies goes to help veterans with housing and jobs.